Well, awesome. Folks, I want to welcome you to another episode of the Empowerment Radio Show. I know it's kind of last minute, and I just happened to be able to catch a very good friend of mine, Scott Paton, who's actually in Colombia right now. So, Scott, thanks for joining us.
Delighted to be here, Gordon.
Nice. Scott, I know it's short notice, and the Empowerment Radio Show is all about inspiration and motivation for entrepreneurs and lifestyle and creating residual income. And one of the things I love about you is you're doing that. You're doing that. Where I know you're from Vancouver, Canada. Where are you right now, Scott? I can't keep track. Where are you?
I'm in Medellin, Colombia. So
No way, Medellin, Colombia. And
South America.
South America. What took you there, Scott?
Nothing took me here. I happen to love Medellin. It's about 3,000 feet above sea level. So it is the city of eternal spring. And in Vancouver right now, in November, it's the city of eternal rain. And it's cold. Here it can rain. This is the rainy season, although you wouldn't know it to look at it
Mm.
today. The rainy season here is an hour of rain around 4 o'clock or later in the evening. And even when it rains, it's warm, so nobody really cares. So I just thought, my son had just bought his house. I helped him move in. I'm now an empty nester. I don't have to be anywhere. And I kind of let go of my home and came down here for 6 weeks.
Amazing.
Yeah, and it's just nice to be able to go and explore the world. It's one of the things that I love, seeing new cultures, meeting new people, and the fact that the internet is everywhere allows me to continue to look after my clients and my business without even them half the time knowing that I'm not just down the road where I used to be.
Wow, that's interesting. Scott, taking 6 weeks off. I know individuals who can't even take 6 minutes off from work. So what,
Well,
and
I'm
you're
not
talking about
taking time off from work. I'm still doing my work. It's just I'm doing it where I want to be, when I want to be.
amazing. So why don't you do me a favor, Scott? Maybe just let the listeners, our audience know. So what is it that you do then? What is it that you do?
I produce online video courses. A lot of them are on Udemy. Some of them are now going on to other platforms like Amazon. And I also executive produce a number of podcasts. And I have a number of clients that I've had for years that I just continue to look after.
Okay. Now, Scott, online courses, I work with a lot of entrepreneurs, coaches, speakers, authors. They have videos on YouTube or Vimeo, places like that. And some of them will spend thousands or tens of thousands of dollars to produce courses. And I've been fortunate with you sharing with me about Udemy and the power behind Udemy. For the folks on here who don't know about Udemy, you mentioned the word Udemy and online courses. Could you share with us a little bit about your experience with them and what the benefits are for folks to have their courses online with Udemy, or what it's done for you?
Well, what I liked about Udemy in the beginning was the fact that they would host all the video. Having been a webmaster for 15 years, I know when you have large files and they're being downloaded a lot, that's a huge drain on your servers. So I was very concerned about how I would be able to deliver my content to my audience. And so Udemy seemed to they did look after all of that. They didn't seem to, they did. The second thing is that they already have 12 million students. So
I'm
that
sorry, how many students do they have?
12 million.
Wow, 12 million students already.
Yeah.
Okay.
So those of us that haven't created a large following, that don't have 100,000 people in their email list, Udemy was like a no-brainer because Udemy does a very, very good job of driving traffic. A lot of the people that I work with, they're experts at their field, in their field, which is not online marketing. Their field is, writing a book or baking bread or tapping with EFT or alternative health. And so they don't want to spend hours and years learning how to develop funnels and create SEO and PPC and Facebook ads and all these things. They just want to change the world and teach the world. So what I loved about Udemy and what I love about what Amazon is doing is they bring the people, and all we
Wow.
have to do is
Wow.
put our information out there, and the people will come.
Amazing. So, Scott, you have about 60 courses that you produce or co-produce now on Udemy. What would you say is one of the most fun courses you put together?
Well, the most fun course is still my first course, which is Podcast Made Easy, because I did that in Machu Picchu. So I actually had
Wow.
Machu Picchu in the background, and that was a lot of fun. But working with experts, people that are incredibly competent in what they do, is very, very rewarding for me. I loved sitting down with them, learning about what it is that they're an expert at, because I love learning. It doesn't really matter to me what the topic is. And then being able to take that information that they have and mold it with them so that they can communicate it in a way that is able to be received by students all around the world.
That's amazing. And so, Scott, if I have clients or entrepreneurs on this call right now that are interested in producing a course, do they have to have a lot of experience in making videos, or do they have to get a studio, spend a lot of money in equipment and so on to produce a course?
No. Most of the courses that I produce are an hour to 90 minutes long, and it takes about 2 hours of recording, takes about a half an hour of setup. I have this PDF that I send them. They fill out the PDF. I set up the course, and then once the course is set up, we review it, and then we do a test video to make sure that their camera and their audio is of a good enough quality to pass Udemy's review process. And then we either have them set up their own video camera and record right there, and then I'm like on Skype or something talking them through certain parts of it, or we just get on Skype and record that way. And usually the process is fun, simple, and it's fast. One of the things that really saddens me when I'm on some of the instructor Facebook groups are people who spent 6 months, 12-hour days creating this course, and it's hours and hours and hours and hours long, and they have 2 students after a couple weeks, and they're devastated.
Wow.
So we always talk about testing. And so for me, if you take your topic and we put it up in the Udemy market, and it took you 3 or 4, let's just say it took you 3 hours to create, and nothing ever happened. Well, that was 3 hours of your time gone, but it wasn't 6 months of your time gone. It's not like you were trying to make a blockbuster movie and you spent 2 years, 3 years doing it, or a documentary, and then everybody panned it, everybody hated it, and you lost $1 million. It was 3 hours of your time, and then from there we build on it. We do a series of courses where we do courses that are of interest to the people that are, like, let's say it was write a book. Well, then what about how to market your book, or how to write a children's book, or how to write a nonfiction book, or how to write a science fiction book? I mean, there's all sorts of things the writers can branch out into, which everybody that is in their kind of community is interested in. Or it may be that none of your community is particularly interested in romance novels or how to write them, but they are in how to write children's books or whatever. So you just, everything you can go deeper and deeper and deeper in, and rather than do that as taking your course and making it longer and longer, because of the way Udemy is structured, it's way more advantageous to say, okay, we've created this book course. Now we're going to create the next one and the next one. We create a series, and it's kind of like, Marvel, right? They came out with the
Marvel Comics.
Yeah, they came out.
Yes.
They came out with the Invincible Iron Man movie, and then Iron Man 2, Iron Man 3, right? They didn't make one 10-hour movie. Because they didn't know if it was going to work or not. They made one movie,
right.
But then they made a second movie, and everyone that liked the first movie went to the second one. Then they went to the third one, and that's the same process with this. In fact, I liken it to the monthly special that NBC used to run in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. It would have a comedy special, a music special, and sometimes it was the same comedians every month would come on for an hour and a half. So this is kind of the same thing. And if you're only looking at 3 hours out of your out of your month to create it, then that's a very doable thing. And of course, the more I work with people, the better we get at doing what we're doing, because the first time it's, I'm not sure about this, I'm not sure about that. And then you watch yourself and you go, I can't believe that I look off to the side or that I say all the time. It becomes a personal development course in and of itself, because as you get feedback, you notice things about yourself and then you start to change those things and or improve them. And that's the beauty of it too, is as I've done 7 or 8 courses with one particular individual, her confidence has grown immensely. And
That's amazing.
I want to add one last thing, and that is that the courses actually may not be important at all, as much as the process of creating the courses. And then what Udemy brings, when they bring all these students, is they bring a level of credibility that most people struggle to get. When Udemy says Scott Paton has 9,800 students in his Podcast Made Easy course, and he has 125 5-star reviews, that's very, very different than Scott Paton saying, well, I have a lot of students in my course, I have a lot of great reviews, you should take my course. So
That makes sense. Makes sense.
Outside of the video course creation process, what happens is people who were ignoring me before say, well, Scott, you're the obvious expert in podcasting. We'd like you to come to our conference. We'd like you to be on this show with us. We'd like you to be here. We'd like you to be there. And so the result is that you get a lot of other benefits from either coaching or group coaching, masterminds, or being on stage, talking to large groups of people, that is actually pretty hard to do otherwise. And the beauty of the courses is all these people can see your course and see how you are on the stage of the course and know already, like, yeah, you would be awesome on our stage. We want you.
Yeah, that's amazing. So, Scott, branding, marketing, making you an expert in your niche, all that is so important. And you touched a little bit on that. I know Randy Goodman just had the Empowering Women Summit up here in Toronto, Canada, and you were a part of that at Coach's Corner, and also part of the speaker panel. And then you were also invited to Cam McArthur's event with Impact Marketing. I believe you were
Yes.
you spoke there, and you were also you hosted. So what you say actually works. So Scott, 2 things I was hoping maybe you could maybe share with us before I let you go, because I know you're enjoying the beautiful weather and country down in Colombia right now. What would you say to people who are interested in online courses with Udemy? 1, can you make money with it? And then 2, Scott, I mentioned Cam McArthur Impact. I'm not sure if you want to share a couple of minutes at the end with our audience, because I know most of them are entrepreneurs. We do the same thing, right? We work hard. We absolutely work hard because we want same fears and doubts. We just want to have enough income to take care of our families. And you're going to be a correspondent for Impact, where I believe you're going to be traveling the world, I don't know, indefinitely, right? So I was hoping, again, you could touch a little bit on, can you make money on Udemy?
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
And what's happening with Scott Paton in the next 12 to 18 months with Impact?
Well, you definitely can make money with Udemy, but you have to keep in mind that the average instructor on Udemy, there's 20,000 of them, and they make about $8,000 a year. Now you have the people that just put up one course and disappeared. You have people that really work hard at it. You also have certain topics that are more popular than other topics. Having said that, there was a lady who made 30,000, I think, last year, teaching people how to bake sourdough bread. So
no, baking what?
Sourdough bread.
Did you say sourdough bread?
That's right, not bread. It's a specific
Wow.
type of bread. And she's got like 5 or 6 or 7 courses on just that topic.
Wow.
So the whole idea of separate courses is pretty big. A lot, and then there are instructors who have made over $1 million. And I think the key with being on Udemy is it's not a get-rich-quick scheme. It's not something that it's a longer-term thing. But we're seeing huge growth in training because most companies are cutting out their training. So where am I going to get my training? Well, we don't train you, but go take this course. We'll pay the $20 or $200 or whatever, and you take the course and you learn it. And that's a big part of how it happens with Udemy. And so we're seeing this huge growth in the industry. We're seeing lots of growth in Udemy, lots of growth in Amazon. So the opportunity is there. Is your specific course and topic going to work? Nobody knows until you try. But a 3-hour investment is a very small investment, in my opinion. To talk a little bit about Ken, he came out with he says basically everybody makes an impact in the world. The question is, are you going to make a little impact or a big impact? And he wants to make a big impact. And one of the ways he's doing it is he's launching a magazine, the Impact Magazine, an online magazine. It'll be free. And as I was at the event, sitting beside Ken, his editor-in-chief, co-publisher, who's also named Ken, was Lovell, was up and talking about it. And I wrote down on a piece of paper, Impact Magazine Chief Foreign Correspondent, because my goal for the next few years is to travel around the world. And I thought, as I'm traveling, I like to have some mission. And just having a mission of looking after my clients and creating courses is, I'm already doing that. That's not like a mission, right, for me. So I thought, what would happen if everywhere I went, I found somebody who was making an impact in their local community and interviewed them? And Ken thought that would be great. So here I am in Medellin, and there is a uncle of somebody that I met who basically planted trees in his area of the city. And now all of a sudden there's green spaces all over the place. The city it's got, there's just something about when you've got trees around, right? And so many places in South America are just buildings and there's no greenery. And this friend of mine, he says, yeah, when I was a child, I left Medellin. I went to the United States for 20 years. And I remember everything was just buildings. There was no greenery. And then when I came back to visit my uncle 20 years later, everything was green. And it was his uncle that did it. So I'm going to be interviewing him and finding out, what that story was. How did they do that? Because oftentimes we're in communities and we think, well, I can't do anything. I can't make a difference. And of course, we can. And the more stories we show and share of people who've made an impact, I think the more inspiring that's going to be for everybody. So when I'm here in Colombia, when I go to Greece and London and Morocco and Turkey next year, I'm going to be
wow. You need someone to carry your bags?
Yes. I actually
wow.
just have one little bag and a backpack with my computer on it. Very, very travel very, very light, and I plan on just setting down for 3 weeks to a month in certain places and really getting to know them. And so I'm expecting next year to be in Europe, probably Africa the following year, Asia the year after that. It started off as just a 1-year trip from Europe to Australia, but the more I looked into it, the more I looked at what I could do, and particularly volunteering. Volunteering has always been something that's very important to me, and I've discovered that as you travel, there's a lot of people who need help and who ask for volunteers to come and help them. And that, of course, opens up doors that a normal tourist will never see into the local communities. And that's one of the things that I'm really excited about, to be able to go and be with the Bedouin in Morocco at the base of the Atlas Mountains for 3 weeks would just be absolutely incredible. So I'm going to be recording all of it. I've actually got a website.
You can document everything.
I'm going to put up, I have a website, and it's either Travel Beside Me or travelwithme.com. I forget. Yeah. And I'm just going to put what's happening in my website so everyone can travel vicariously if they wish.
Wow. I love it, Scott. Love it. Let me ask you this: if some of our audience wanted to get in touch with you, learn more about that they want to travel with you, I know. What's the best way? What's the best way for them to reach out or get to know you, or get some more information on you in case they want to start their own Udemy courses or start their own podcast? Scott, what's the easiest way for them to reach out to you?
The easiest way is to email me, scott@powerpodcasters.com.
Okay. And I'm going to put that in the show notes with our podcast folks. So it's going to be easy for you to reach out to Scott. Scott, I want to thank you so much for taking the time. I know, again, you're down in Colombia. Obviously, I want to be there. I'm up here in Toronto right now, even though we've got a beautiful, beautiful sunny fall weather up here. I would love to be where you are, obviously. But I was just going to ask you. I know you're coming up to Toronto in the
Yes.
beginning of January, and we're going to be teaching some Udemy courses to folks who want to learn about Udemy, who want to put together their own courses. What would you say to some of those folks right now, um, and why they should actually be there in January when you're up here?
Well, what I would say is it's only a few short months away,
Ah, I see the palm trees now.
and it's a once in a lifetime opportunity to take advantage of something that is just going to be absolutely huge and doesn't take you forever to accomplish. So if you can do it
Yes.
fast, if you've already got good speaking skills, if you don't, then you're going to be improving, and that's what it's really all about. So I can't think of anything better than when I get an email from somebody saying, you know, you've inspired me with your course. I can't believe how you've changed my life, and I can't believe, you know, yeah, just how my life is better because of what you've done, and that's a really rewarding feeling.
Yeah. Well, that's amazing, Scott. I know, yesterday history was made. There's going to be a new president in the United States, something to look forward to. And I hope you come home soon, right? You're going to be here in January because in case they build a wall here, right?
Well, I'll be able to
Just
fly
kidding.
over it from South America.
Yes, just kidding about that, right? So when you see something like that, possibilities, right?
Yes.
Possibilities. So, if your dreams are big enough, like Walt Disney says, if you have the courage to pursue them, right? You just have to have hopes and dreams that are big enough. Just go out and pursue them, and that's what you're doing. You're pursuing your dreams. And I know the last time you were here, there were a number of Canadians, the Randy Goodmans, the Dwayne Richards, the Greg Turners, et cetera, that actually did produce some Udemy courses as a result of working with you. So, folks, if you're serious about taking your business next level, developing residual income online. So if you could travel and have 12 million potential individuals that could buy your courses, wow, that's unbelievable. Scott, thank you for opening up our eyes to that. I want to thank the folks again for being on our podcast. If you like the podcast, you didn't like the podcast, leave a comment anyways.
How can you not like the
Absolutely, right? How
podcast?
can you not love? Leave a comment anyways. We want to hear from you, and go to iTunes, right? Give us a thumbs up, right? If what you heard from Scott today, the ability to be able to just travel, I mean, travel all around the world, and still have a business that pays you wherever you are, that's absolutely unbelievable, right? If that's inspired you, leave a comment. And again, go to iTunes, like it, and share with the folks that you know. So thank you again, and we'll look forward to having you, Scott, back on another episode with us.
Thanks, Gordon. Appreciate you.
Thanks. Thank you.